Hello, this is our extension piece to our lesson on the introduction for linear models. And we've already looked at this scenario, but I'm going to go ahead and read it again. On the Phone Go company has 2 monthly plans for their customers. The 40 to Go plan costs $40 to sign up, plus 5 cents per streaming minute. And from that, we previously wrote this equation. I'm just going to review us that when you see those per each every, I'm going to write it down right here real fast. When you see those per each every, and I call it the P words, that indicates a rate. So if I go back and look up in the scenario, we saw one in there before, right here. And if we look at the number that's close to that or what it deals with, that's the 5 cents. So that's the rate. And then over here, what it was about, it's 5 cents for what? It's 5 cents per minute. That's the X. So that's how we know how to set up our table and that the X values are going to be the minutes used. And then the other thing that this is talking about, like if you just look at what the 40 represents, up in here that's $40. So the Y is going to represent the dollars or the cost. So the numbers do help you sort of figure out what is the X representing and what is the Y representing as well. And since the $40 was our starting value, we were able to then write the equation, and you can see where we put the 5 cents next to the X, that's where the rate goes, and the $40, that's the starting value. So that would follow our equation format of Y equals mx plus b, where m is the rate and b is the starting value. Now we're going to extend that and use both either our chart, our table, and our equation to answer a real world problem. Now, if you look at the way the table is set up, it's showing us our minutes. And if I wanted to know how much it was going to cost for 5 minutes, I could just extend my table out and add another 5 cents. So then that would be $40.25. And I could even do that if I wanted to know 6 minutes or 7 minutes. I could just keep adding on my rate. Remember, we have to add the rate number because that tells us how it's increasing or decreasing. And we could do that and basically just keep adding forward. But if we look at what's left in the problem, it says how much would it cost if you plan to use 600 minutes. Okay, well, I'm not going to want to extend the table out for 600 minutes. That would take a really long time. So instead of trying to extend my table out, I'm going to use my equation. But then I've got to realize, where does the 600 minutes go? Well, that's why it's good to know what your X and your Y represent. If I look at my table, my Y is the total cost, so this is the total cost. And my X is the minutes used. So this is the minutes that we're going to use. And the problem says 600 minutes. So since 600 is minutes, this is an X number, and that's where I'm going to put it. So I'm just going to ignore about what the Y is, because I know that I'm going to put it in for the X, because that's the minutes used. So what I then do is I rewrite the problem, but I literally take out the X. And some people like to put a box in there in its place like that, which is fine. You could put a box in there to show that, hey, in this box, and I'm going to just in this box, that's where my X was. But I need to put the 600 there. Other people, and they'll actually write the 600 inside the box. But what I like to do is, instead of the box, I like to create what I call the hole and use parentheses. And inside the parentheses is where I'm actually going to put my number 600. So you got to think of that 600 is going in here, it's dropping in where the X is, and it's actually replacing the X value. And then you can just use your calculator, and you're going to multiply here first, and then add the 40. So you're doing 0.05 or 5 cents times 600, which gives you 30. And then you're going to add that 40. So then you end up with y equals 70. So your answer is 70, but now what does that mean in the context of the problem? Well, it was asking you how much would it cost if you plan to use 600 minutes. And notice I kept bringing down the y because I'm saying y equals 70, and if I go back and look at the table, y is the cost, which is the dollars. So this is really $70. So I can say that 600 minutes will cost $70. And that's what that actually means. The 600 minutes is costing me $70. And if I wanted to put it on my table and extend it out, I would have the 600 on the x side and the 70 on the y side. Or you could write it as coordinates, because it is coordinates. For a graph, 600 is the x number, 70 is the y number, but 600 does indicate minutes and 70 is for dollars.